Welcome back, everyone. With me to my right, I've got someone I've admired for quite some time. When I first met Shane, he was CISO for a state agency in South Carolina, and he was searching for diamonds in the rough, giving the opportunities and providing opportunities to folks that just needed a chance, and leading an innovative way to do just that. He's currently continuing down that path to providing opportunities and enabling people as CEO of Cyber Unleashed. And also, he's the Senior Director of Information Security at GLS Auto Financial Industry. Shane, it's great to meet you here. Thanks.
Hey, Bernard, thanks for having me here. Glad to be here and very happy to help you with anything I can.
Absolutely. So tell me, the focus of this is BYOD in the changing environment. How do you see that changing?
For us, we have to be adaptable. The thing from COVID, they taught us that we needed to be able to rapidly respond to any situation, and GLS did that. The state agencies, we did that. Being able to convert and go to any device, any location, is a high priority for organizations going into 2024.
What technologies and what solutions are you leveraging in order to help facilitate that?
So it's different between different agencies.
Okay.
When I worked for the state, we had a big push to go VDI in Azure, and that was a very cost thing for us. We spent a lot of money on it, getting it up. And it hindered us even more was actually getting people that knew how to use the technologies. So staff retention was bad. And then you're still having to combine that with legacy protocols, so stuff like VPN. That's another technology stack.
Right.
You got ridiculous access controls because everybody's wanting to move to a zero trust environment.
Right.
So you've got all these different technologies. You're trying to throw them at different people. They don't have the skill sets. It's just a continuous challenge. And that's still some of the technologies that we're utilizing today.
So you said today. What are technologies that you're looking at to help you move forward in the future?
It's funny you bring that up. So the one thing that I'm looking at doing to simplify us is using the enterprise browser. Island is a breakthrough organization. They have come out. They really got my attention. And it's not just for the BYOD, but it's for simplifying the entire security stack for us.
Okay.
From our use cases, we've been able to identify about 7 or 8 different use cases. Wow. And at the same time, I think I can actually reduce my security stack by 5 or 6 technologies. So what that means for me is I can now bring in, say, a college hire that doesn't have any real-world experience, and instead of training them on 5, 6 best-of-breed technologies, I've got one platform that does it all.
Okay.
And on top of that, I'm able to do it from any device in any location in the world and not have the constraints of different access control policies, all these different technologies that don't want to communicate with each other. It's a fantastic thing that we're looking at right now.
So, one of the things that I've seen in my history as a value-added reseller selling a bunch of different technologies is adoption. Adoption not only from the back end on the engineering side, but adoption from an end user perspective. How is this enterprise browser being adopted or taken or seen from the consumer or end user perspective?
I see it being really, really good. So in our use case, the first pushback was, don't touch my browser.
Right.
Everybody doesn't want you to touch the browser, right. My extensions, my bookmarks. During initial testing, Island made it easy for us. Passwords automatically imported, and all those same extensions that they were worried about breaking, they still work.
Okay.
But with us being in an AI-driven world right now, of course, I have to block ChatGPT and stuff like it right now, right? Yeah. Because if you, as an end user, go out and put sensitive company data in there, you're opening my organization up for a data loss incident.
Gotcha. Some compliance issues there, yeah.
Totally. And the best thing about Island is it has built-in AI, and it's closed loop. So now I can put AI technologies in front of my level 1 staff, and I'm not worried about what they put into it. From a data security standpoint, it's made my life much easier.
That's super interesting. From a compliance perspective, are there, because you'd mentioned the compliance and to piggyback off of that, is the solution helping you with compliance in other areas of the business?
It does. Like I said, I'm consolidating 5, 6 technology stacks. And so when we have auditors come in, and us being a financial institution, we have regulatory compliance. You got our security program that we're trying to implement. So when I have to go through and gather artifact evidence, for compliance, I have to go to all the different tools. Most of the time I have to go to different people because role-based access, I don't even have access to everything. Island Browser consolidates all of that. I'm doing data, I'm doing access control, I'm improving the end user experience. Another thing that we kind of like about it is the homepage that we get to customize.
Oh, tell me about that.
So think about this. Several different scenarios. If you walk into an organization day one, doesn't matter what level you're at, imagine opening up your browser, all the tools, all the reports, and everything that matters to you to be successful in that position is right there on your homepage.
So it's helping you get your users onboarded quickly. Is that right?
Getting them up to speed. It's allowing I foresee this homepage, the way that Island allows you to customize it, being able to improve the ROI of bringing on new hires.
Yeah, it's funny, right? There's some intangible benefits to that again we can't tie money to, because I know that whenever I come to an organization, I want to just provide value and just get to work as quickly as I can.
Yeah.
But if I'm sitting there and trying to find links and doing and scrolling around and asking people for help, then I'm not providing any value. So there's this intrinsic, like I said, non-tangible feeling of accomplishment that you're able to provide to these folks.
But not just that, service delivery. So when I was a CIO over another state agency here in South Carolina, one of my pet peeves was, we got Bernard starting Monday. Let's get him his accounts created. All the accounts don't get created. But you don't find out about it until 3 or 4 weeks down the road because you didn't know you needed access to it. So now with this browser and creating homepages, I can make every tool that is accessible to you that you should have access to in this position on your homepage. So your course from day one, you're starting to click. Oh, I can't get to this. Well, guess what? If it's on your homepage, you probably should have access to it. So now we're able to make sure that we're delivering the service to the end users.
That's awesome. So I want to talk about, if we can pivot for just a second, I'd like to start talking about what you're doing at, and thank you so much for sharing. Let's talk about what you're doing at cybersecurity, at Cyber Unleashed. Tell me what you're doing there.
So that's a long story to kind of get into, but kind of wrap it up. My history growing up, I didn't come from a whole lot of anything. I joined the military. I told myself in high school that I was going to eventually get into an IT security job. I was going to eventually make 6 figures one day. Nice. I actually had a lot of people around me say that people like us do not make that kind of money. I joined the military. I got deployed. While I was over there, I gave up all my free passes. I ended up going to a university over there, and I actually got my Certified Ethical Hacker, Security Plus, and Network Plus certifications all within 2 months.
Gotcha.
My game plan coming back home is I was going to get a job in IT security, and I was going to prove everybody wrong.
Okay.
And that was in 2017 when I got back. And people that are trying to get jobs now are going through the exact same thing that I was then. I came back with 3 really good certifications. You could sit down and have a conversation with me about anything. I could talk to you about it, but I couldn't get a job. My first job in IT on the civilian side was actually help desk. Since then, it actually took me about 2 years to pivot into my first civilian side CISO role. But I had to get the experience.
But still, though, 2 years, that takes, in most cases and in most people, that takes decades, if not more. So what was that trajectory? How did you get on that path?
So while I was deployed, I learned really good study habits.
Okay.
But I wasn't just memorizing. I studied to learn, and I did labs. When I got back, I was able to get the help desk job, but I had 3 really good certs. I had to get the next checkbox, so I had to go back to school.
Okay.
I went back, got my bachelor's. In the meantime, I picked up a few more certs. I think by the time I took my first CISO role, I had like 12 certifications.
Okay.
But that's a lot of personal investment.
Sure.
And honestly, the biggest reason that was even a success was the wife. A strong support system at home allowed me to get there. But fast forward it up, I was catapulted into a CIO role over at DO here in South Carolina, and we created an internship specifically to help people that were going through the same situations I went through in 2017.
So what did it mean to you to be able to provide that opportunity for those interns?
It meant the absolute world. We have kids that graduated high school, they didn't have money for college, and where most of the state agencies here are headquartered in Columbia, South Carolina, it's a real it's a poverty-driven city.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people down there, especially the kids, have money. They're not going to go to college. So as a workforce organization, we were supposed to create opportunities for everybody. And there's a big need for cybersecurity analysts, right? So we created this internship, and we took kids right out of high school, never touched a computer really. They didn't know anything about being a security analyst.
Okay.
We had kids that were transitioning from other career fields. I think we had maintenance, law enforcement. We had a bunch of them come through. And this started in June of 2021, I think, or 2022. And it ran for about a year. But by the time that year was up, over half the class actually, they moved on from the program, and they were actually able to go straight into a cybersecurity position.
Wow.
And I'm not talking about at small mom and pop shops. Some of them went to work at Lumen. Some went to work at other state agencies.
So you were really able to deliver the skill sets that these people needed to do to solve problems for these real world organizations.
Yeah, we did. It was definitely a life-changing experience. Some of those kids, we got to know them on a personal level. They didn't have anything going for them. They were probably going to end up working, fast food or something, not really making anything of them. And now they're working as cybersecurity analysts. I think one's actually a GRC analyst now, working at another organization. But these guys are making, 1 or 2 years out of high school now. They're making $80,000, $85,000 a year.
That's life-changing for sure.
It is, especially in a small poverty city like Columbia.
That's right.
So that's kind of how Cyber Unleashed came.
Okay.
I'm no longer with the state agency, but I want to continue to give back. I do mentorships. I, try to coach people. But I have all this knowledge, and it's not doing me any good in my head.
Okay.
And I think that's the best thing that we have going for the cybersecurity field is we all want to genuinely give back. You're a genuine guy. You always come up, hey, how can I help you? Like, I really, truly want to help you. That's what I'm trying to do with Cyber Unleashed. Put together everything that anybody needs to break into the cybersecurity field.
Well, that's fantastic, and we're actually helping each other in that particular regard because we've partnered to provide some security policies for our customers and really help to enable the use of the enterprise browser or just anything in general. To pivot back to the BYOD, what are some of the biggest challenges that you've seen with BYOD?
Oh, a lot. So specifically when we get into like Android phones and iPhones, they have two different ways of separating corporate data. So either separate profiles or separate containers. Most of your MDM solutions do not play well with the others.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily the solutions. It could be administrators, whoever's setting up the policies, maybe they don't understand it, but they never work 100% as intended. So going from that, some of the issues that I've seen, several of my jobs, you think you have an MDM solution that is protecting the data that goes on the phone. Okay. So I have a personal phone where I can access emails. What's in your email? Everything. Everybody sends all your sensitive stuff through emails internally. Teams, everybody's uploading all your sensitive stuff. What happens if you start downloading that stuff onto your personal phone and then you leave the organization? In my position, as somebody leading and overseeing a security program, that gives me heartburn. Like, you could walk away with something that is now a data disclosure incident simply because we didn't have tools in place. So that's one of the reasons why we're actually looking at Island. I can control what gets downloaded on to mobile devices, not just phones, personal devices, tablets, laptops, anything. But I can still empower the user to access our stuff securely from any location and any device in the world. So
what I hear you saying is that you're able to allow the user to work the way that they want to work and not have to mandate certain devices and whatnot. Again, just providing a better experience for the end users themselves.
I'm allowing organizations that want to utilize this technology to be adaptive and gain a competitive advantage.
Tell me about the competitive advantage aspect.
So imagine an organization that they only purchase, say, this brand of laptops.
Okay.
And they have to be configured this way.
Right.
Well, if I can do the exact same security measures inside of the Island browser, but you can do your work from any device in any location, I can now scale twice as fast or 3 times as fast as you.
Because that reduces the cost, right?
Well, it reduces the cost to the various tools that you're using
Sure.
for that first company to only buy these laptops and only configure them this way and only these security tools. So there's a lot of overhead in that alone, just with the tool itself.
Okay.
But what end users like is, I'm a Windows guy. I'm not a Mac guy. Wife is a Mac. If she had the opportunity to bring a Mac to work, she would. With the browser, I can allow you to bring Macs to work.
So in this particular case, it really does also provide, looking at it from a different context, it's a platform that's really agnostic to the device that you're running it on. Right?
That's a great way to put it. Device agnostic.
Right.
So,
yeah, because working with the school system, that was one of the challenges that they had, right? Chromebooks and Windows machines as well as Macs and Linux in some cases. So each one of those needed a different way to control and enforce policy. Whereas with Island, and each one of them, they were all accessing a web browser, right? So with Island, we're actually able to integrate the tool into where and the controls into where the people were actually doing the work anyway. And what that did was it made everybody happy, even the administrators on the back end, because they're like, it's one less tool that I need to deal with and need to manage. Or a bunch of different tools that they no longer manage.
And another good thing about it is business continuity and disaster recovery.
What do you mean by that? Dig in that for a second.
So let's think about a company that's stationed along the coast. Hurricane comes, wipe out the building. Your laptops are destroyed, or whatever. By the time it takes the organization to go to a secondary site, spin it up, they got to onboard new Windows or Macs, whatever their devices are. Think about all that downtime.
Man.
So from a security perspective, we're like, before you put that computer on the network, you got to harden it. You've got to be able to do all this kind of stuff. With a browser and everything being browser-based, you don't have to worry about that. You can go to Best Buy, buy you 10 laptops, open them up, download the Island app. All of your security policies are already there.
Got it.
Users just got to log in. They have access. The mission continues.
Everything's right there in front of them.
Everything's right there in front of them.
You got the home screen that you talked about earlier.
And they love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk about the partnership between one of the things I really appreciate about you, again, I think we appreciate about each other, is that we really do want to help the world here, and I appreciate you helping us by partnering with us in regards to providing policies for BYOD and working with you on an AI policy for that. One of the things that, again, on our website, you can download a small subset of that. Tell us about all the policies that you have available to you on your Cyber Unleashed.
So, yeah, policies is a fun topic. It seems like every organization I go to, I always have to start from scratch, redoing them. And it depends on what kind of control framework they're in, depends on how many policies you're going to end up having to have. Sure. I absolutely hate wasting months getting these things up to date. So what I did was just started, I think I've got 42 policy templates now that I basically start with regardless of what organization I'm at. Okay. And that's really all it is just a starter point. And a lot of people reached out, can you do this for us? Can you do this for us? And so that's kind of what got us going down this path of creating policies. At the end of the day, you can download them, slap your logo on them, and hey, we have something. Right. You still got to go back eventually and add in your regulatory controls. Sure.
Now, one of the things that we've realized is it's a great framework, right? It's like you'd mentioned, it's a great starting work to at least get them going and have something in place so that they can better understand the solution, the outcomes that they want to achieve with the policy in and of itself.
That's correct.
That's good stuff.
So, Bernard.
Yes.
Tell me, how did you get started with IP technologies here? Give me the rundown on how you brought this up. Well,
prior to starting Inflection Point Technologies, I was at a reseller for over 2 decades, right? And at that reseller, I started off in the engineering side, worked my way up to leadership, and then over to sales. At that value-added reseller, you're selling everything. You're selling CASB solutions, you're selling VDI solution, you're selling DAS and Zero Trust and all of these different things. So the common denominator that most, if not all of these solutions solved for, either enabled or protected, was the web browser. So when Island came out and they incorporated those outcomes that those things produced into the place where people were already doing work, I knew that this was a game changer and this would help people to win. That being said, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a world champion in track cycling.
Oh,
right?
No, I did not know that.
So, but there's and when it comes to winning, there's a dichotomy of winning, right? Sometimes in order to do less, you have to do. Sometimes in order to do more, you actually have to do less. So what we do here at Inflection Point is that I decided to start a company that was laser focused on making sure that the world understands the impact that this solution has in regards to simplifying the security stack, in regards to reducing cost and making people's lives easier by reducing the administrative burden, while also increasing visibility and control, while at the same time providing just an exceptional end user and administrator experience. And it really is just a win-win all around when you really think about it.
No, that's good. So my big question now is I'm assuming that you are going to picture this as the new digital transformation technology as organizations go into 2024, especially since Gartner created a whole new quadrant just for the enterprise browser. Sure. What's your thoughts on that?
So when I go back and again, in my experience as a reseller, when talking about digital transformation, we had all of these different tools and all of these different technologies. And going back to the Pareto principle, where 80% of the effect is there's 20% of the cause, we could solve for so much of digital transformation by incorporating this tool and providing this tool here. So when you think about displacing tools like VDI and DAS, and I don't know if Gartner has actually placed the enterprise browser in 4 of its hype cycles. One of those is everything as a service. And this tool, with that, in order to better help the world leverage the tool, we felt that it was important for us to really get behind it and put our resources into it, so that the world can really understand and get the most out of it, right?
Hey, Bernard, on the Inflection Point Technologies website, I noticed that you have something on there called the Outcome Map.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what is the Outcome Map?
Well, it's kind of like the process that we did with you, right? When we go in and we understand your not only your security stack, but your enterprise stack in and of itself, and the results that you're trying to achieve with those things. And then we build a roadmap of how the enterprise browser could possibly help you reduce that or transform the way that you work. What's the most important piece of information on the map? It's not the destination, but it's understanding where you are, right?
Yeah, okay, the journey.
Right,
okay.
right.
Yeah,
well, you can say the journey, but one of the key things about the journey is figuring out exactly where you are. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we've found that's been beneficial for us is working with leaders like yourself and demystifying exactly where you are, because you've got an understanding of where you want to go. So what we do is we understand where you are, get clarity on that, provide, and then once we define the outcome that that you'd like to achieve, we leverage our information and our knowledge about the enterprise browser to help you to achieve those results that you want. The other benefit of the outcome map in and of itself is that it's then because now you've got your vision crystallized in this map. You can then take that map and then share it with others in your organization to help them really see the vision that you're trying to attain with the outcome map and with the enterprise browser.
That's awesome. It almost sounds like creating a whole new security roadmap for consolidation, cost savings, and optimization of organizations.
100%, because that's one of the key things that we like to do inside of the map in and of itself is provide visuals. Because I don't know about you, but I like pictures. I'm a big pictures guy, so pictures help me. But also the quantitative information in there too, right? Mm-hmm. So if we can reduce, if there's ways that we can tangibly reduce cost, mm-hmm. we actually put that in there as well. So that helps within multiple levels within the organization.
Bernard, that's what I like about you. You're laser cut on one technology, but it's not one technology that just puts the buck in your pocket. This is something that truly makes a difference to organizations. When you first brought it to me, it was like, oh, another browser. No, it has definitely been eye-opening for us, the potentials. So we greatly appreciate it. And you have been fantastic to work with on this.
I absolutely appreciate that, brother. I mean, you've been it's been inspirational working with you from not only from a personal perspective, but also from a professional perspective. You're a consummate professional. How you manage your team and the engagement, and how you're moving things forward, and the visionary approach that you're taking on this. Again, it just somebody that I absolutely want to continue to be around and to continue to help other people with.
Well, I appreciate that, Bernard.
I appreciate you. Listen, thank you so much. If you'd like more information on the enterprise browser and how we can assist you, please reach out via LinkedIn, and there's going to be via LinkedIn or the show notes below, and there's going to be a little button that you can click there too. So thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Look forward to seeing you again.